Welcome to Ideagen TV live today from the Embassy of Ethiopia here in Washington, D.C. We could not be more thrilled to have an interview today, an exclusive interview with Deputy Chief of Mission from the Greek Embassy here in Washington, Deputy Chief of Mission, Theodoros Bizakis. Minister, welcome.
Nice to see you again, George.
It's so great to have you here because Greece is leading the way. 25 leading the way in the Security Council at the United Nations. So many amazing things happening in Greece at the moment. And where do we begin? I'd love for a global audience, if you could describe a little bit about your role and what you're doing at the embassy.
Yes, sure. Well, the Embassy of Greece here in Washington, D.C. is relatively, I would say, the biggest bilateral embassy for the Greek Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which means we have the political section, the commercial section, the public diplomacy section, a big military representation, and of course, consular services office. So it is a big embassy. There are a lot of issues we need to tackle every day. One big pillar is the purely bilateral, U.S.-Greek relations. And of course, the other one or more pillar is following the whole spectrum of international developments that are happening all around the world. From the prospect of the U.S. Policy towards these developments, and of course, another third pillar I would say is the consular services and more or less dealing with the big number of Greek Americans who are living in the whole United States. We have, apart from the embassy, we have 8 consulates all around the United States, and working with the Greek Americans and trying to serve in whatever they need is also one of the main pillars of the Greek embassy. And my work is coordinating. The Ambassador Papadopoulou is the head of the embassy, and I'm coordinating everyday business in the office, and I'm coordinating cooperation between the various sections so that we all produce, the best unified result. Okay.
Well, it's an amazing. It's really just amazing to hear about your role and the breadth and depth of what you're doing. I'd like to zero in a little bit on diplomacy. How has diplomacy changed? How has the craft of diplomacy changed from the beginning of your career to today?
Yeah. Although I'm in the Foreign Service since '94, so although a lot of things have changed since then, I'd say that the international cooperation has been very, very much broadened, both bilaterally and multilaterally. The new technology is a very big, if I can call it also, weapon or tool in diplomacy nowadays, and we all need to adjust, to update our job and according to what people need, which tools do people all around the world use, and how to tackle, the new challenges that arise internationally. This is something not just for the Greek Minister of Foreign Affairs. This is something globally. All diplomacies trying to find a way to work, within the update conditions that we are living. Because diplomacy, among others, is try to find solutions. And these solutions need to be found through contemporary tools.
That's right. And so as we look through the lens of the global goals, those 17 global goals of the United Nations, partnerships are critical. And I know that you're an expert in building partnerships. That's what you do every day with the community, governments, etc. How effective and how important are partnerships, Minister Bizakis, to the work that you do?
Well, I think that partnership is number one issue that we need to develop in diplomacy. You need, we are working in a very globalized environment. So no country can do anything alone. We can see it every day. We saw that even now recently with the crisis we had in Sudan. We saw that in COVID. We saw that with the climate change. So what you need, all countries need to talk to each other, need to find common points, need to find where they disagree, of course, and need to find ways to find solutions to any kind of problems and issues. This is something that partnership, no global targets or goals can be achieved unless all countries, either bilaterally or through United Nations forum, can work together.
That's right. And so there's a next generation of diplomats coming at us. What advice would you give to the next generation, to this incoming group of global leaders as they prepare to begin the journey that you've been on?
Well, I see, first of all, the next generation of diplomats or even broader leaders, they need to start from they need to follow their dreams. They need to have dreams which they will pursue. Second, they need to study very hard, and because if you don't study the data and the conditions all around the world, you need to study them, to analyze them, and then try to get some conclusions and some initiatives. And third of all, not to be afraid, what I said before, to take initiatives. Problems can be solved through traditional means, but can be also solved through innovative solutions. And this is something that the young diplomats or the young leaders need to be brave enough to propose or to forward solutions, even at sometimes this doesn't work. But solutions can only be found, I think, in our days through innovative ideas.
That's right, innovation. And so, as this interview concludes, what is your global call to action for the millions of people watching Ideagen TV in this interview today, live from the Embassy of Ethiopia in Washington?
Mm-hmm. Study the problems that are around the world. It's climate change, it's health problems, it's food security or whatever. Study the issues, try to analyze them, and try to communicate with each other, communicate with people to people, country to countries. There's no other way that our global problems can be solved unless we all talk to each other and we all find compromises and get the final solution. There's no other way to do it.
That's the final word, and that's great advice. Deputy Chief of Mission Theodoros Bizakis from the Greek Embassy here in Washington, D.C. Ideagen TV live from the Embassy of Ethiopia in Washington. Thank you.